There we go. 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting way too early from 3 separate Wi-Fi connections. It's PT Breakfast Club with Tony Maritato, Dave Kittle, and Jimmy McKay.
Hey, it's a scream at the end there that makes it the best there. Good morning, PT Breakfast Club. Still one Tony down, but he'll be back later on, I promise. The only morning show here today where physical therapists gather twice a week to talk about the business of helping move humans more and occasionally question every marketing decision we've ever made. I'm Jimmy McKay. That's Dave Kittle. Quietly building Manhattan cash practice one visit at a time. Today, let's start off with a little confidence. You gotta say it, as Kevin Hart would say. Say it with your chest. You got to mean it. Essentially, you dropped something in the chat that your new PT, Andrew Wolfhammer, I know it's not that, but that does sound like if you were on the Game of Thrones, Wolfhammer would be great. He's already selling care packages. Tony asked why this new person was doing so better, different. Something is an anomaly. We ask why. The answer isn't credentials. Maybe it wasn't even experience or technique. You think the answer is what, Dave? Why is this person doing something differently?
Yes. Also, as a hook, why am I currently eating raw eggs, and how you can leverage what maybe influenced me with your content for your physical therapy business. That is another topic for later today. Okay. In terms of the treatment packages, yeah, Andrew has so Thursday in 2 days will be his 60th day. We've never had a therapist sell this many treatment packages in 60 days. He's doing exceptional. He transitioned from doing home visits, Medicare Part B home visits in New York City and Manhattan for the past 4 years. The 2 previous years was outpatient orthopedics, also in Manhattan. So first 2 years out of school, brick and mortar clinic, practice, ortho, busy clinic, all that. He didn't like that, so he left, wanted to do the home visits. Spent the next 6 years doing home visits in Manhattan itself. I think that is one of the main parts in terms of his confidence and experience in just going to people's homes, talking with different folks, having that whole one-on-one interaction, as opposed to some of my previous therapists, including the more recent one that had exited, that was not from here, not from the US originally. English was their second language, and coming into Manhattan, I think, is kind of a probably if you're coming from anywhere else. I mean, even if you're coming from Jersey or PA or anywhere. I mean,
I have friends from all over who are like, I come to New York. They're like, I don't know what's going on there. Yeah, it's different, man.
It's a different beast.
Gravity is different in New York City.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, we can riff and go into it, but I also like there's some things that like this therapist had already had in terms of confidence, experience, and then I think I had a way better planned and executed onboarding approach for this new therapist. Although, and we did a lot more sales role play in the last 60 days where we do it in person or we do it on a Zoom call and we go through, scripts and we take turns. Like he's the fake patient, I'm the therapist, and then I'm the patient and he's the therapist. And we basically know, we see on the screen or we have in front of us, like, I want to think about it. It's a lot of money. I want to use my insurance. I don't have money. I got to speak to my spouse. I got to sleep on it. That's out of my budget. All the things that we hear in cash practices. So he's got so many reps in the last 60 days. With that, like we basically are training our therapists to like, you have to expect that people are going to be surprised. Although I'm trying to improve the whole process where like, if Jimmy's my new patient, I want you to know what the cost approximately will be if you want to move forward and decide with us. Sure. But we always say like either the first visit we've tested, either the first visit is complimentary or the first visit is paid, doesn't matter. But either way, it's like, just try this, just do this one visit. Don't even think about like past that, because you can't even make an informed decision or a financial decision about fixing your chronic low back pain that might take 10, 15 visits unless you experience the value first, if that makes sense.
Sure. Because just the term physical therapy doesn't say a whole lot. How are you supposed to know what that means? Because it could mean so many different things to so many different people. It does.
Right.
It's wide.
Right. Yeah. So I put that in the chat for you guys, a screenshot of our text message because he had sold a $3,600 package yesterday, and I was super pumped. And like those are the things that like I can't always put even on my stories anymore because I have like prospective patients looking at our stories, physicians.
Wouldn't that help? Because wouldn't that be like sort of doing what you just said, sort of seeding what you should expect? You're raising the floor essentially.
I mean, maybe I should. I mean, if you were a prospective patient of the place nearby, you have a friend that has a practice nearby. But if they were posting that their therapist having it's not a turnoff. It's not bad taste.
Oh no, I don't know. I don't know if it's a turnoff, but I don't know if does it move the narrative forward? Because you want to talk about the outcome, not the cost. I have no problem talking about the cost when you ask me about it or when I look for it. Yeah, so I agree with you. I don't know if that's the thing. I think sharing with someone just like car dealers are good at that. Like they're like, hey, they have like a sign at their dealership, new owner. And then it's like Karen and Carl are outside next to their new minivan. They're like, or like real estate is good about that.
I have a good anonymous story that I think would be better to describe this story, which is we have a client. They're super busy. They're a little bit older, but they're active. Had a knee replacement. Had in-home physical therapy in Manhattan. He didn't want to badmouth the company. I don't want to badmouth this other company. I don't know this other company, but long story short, he was getting home visits and they were covered through either his commercial insurance or Medicare Part B or whatever. Without self-pay, but this client uses insurance and had 2 PTs from this covered practice to do home physical therapy after his knee replacement.
Got it.
They did 0 manual therapy after a knee replacement. A knee replacement that was stiff, that needed mobilization and all that. What's that?
Unstiffing, need some movement.
Typically, I mean, any outpatient PT that's watching or listening, they're typically going to do some manual therapy for anyone after knee replacement. This home practice did 0 manual therapy. He splits time between New York and Florida. He went to Florida. He found what sounded like a similar therapist to us, like hands-on,
sure,
comprehensive, all that. I spoke to the therapist. He was like minus 30 degrees away from full extension. So he was lacking significant extension, pain with walking, pain with everything. That therapist in Florida did a whole bunch of manual therapy 5 days in a row only because this client is so busy. But in those 5 days, he felt so much better and looser and all that. So then this client goes from Florida, comes back to New York City, is not going to continue with the other physical therapy place, even though it was covered, because they're just like, hey, all right, do this exercise, do this, do that, bend it, straighten it, bend it, whatever, lift it, whatever, just bend it and then move it. So he felt what hands-on care or different care felt like in Florida. He comes back to New York City. He finds us on the Google machine. And my therapist goes yesterday, and I already told him all this because we do a comprehensive intake of what you liked, what you didn't like it, what do you think helped, what didn't help, whatever, at your previous experiences. And obviously that was his main part of hands-on care. My therapist does 1 visit with him and sells a package for $3,600, which comes out to like $300 a visit, paid up front, which is juicy. But the thing is we're providing what he's looking for. And in the next 12 visits or 8 or 10 or whatever we do, like it's going to be completely focused on loosening up that knee, getting him walking and moving better. But at the end of the very first visit yesterday, he was already saying how much looser and better he felt and confident and hopeful and all that. And so those are the things that we need to highlight with future videos and content and all that, as opposed to a screenshot of like my therapist saying, hey, I just sold a package.
Yeah. Oh, great. Or do you start a shell company that provides crappy care? That is a great setup for your real company. Do you know what I mean? Like if you got a crappy restaurant.
There are enough of these companies already.
You're like, you have a crappy restaurant that's like no seats and the food's bad or whatever. And then next door, you're like, we have some openings. We're really good, but we're expensive. And you're like, at this point, I'll take anything. So what you're saying is there's confidence, repetition, doing the thing over and over again makes you a better person at doing the thing.
Right.
And that's good. And sounds like he likes it. Like you can't make someone who like is sort of into it. That's not how that works. Right? I've said this before. This was something a boss taught me. You can't teach give a shit. If you give a shit, I can make you better. Right? But if you don't, like I'll take what is it? I'll take the C+ skill with A+ effort rather than the A+ skill with the C+ effort. I can't do anything with C+ effort. We can't.
Right.
So this is good.
And I definitely have had in the past 2 years, I have definitely had therapists that are on a spectrum of how much they give how much effort or how much they care.
Yeah.
And my current therapist, Andrew, is stellar. I mean, just amazing.
What's your long-term move? Do you try to create more? How do you use Andrew to create more Andrews?
Well, I mean, his second or third week, he had already offered to and he did. He introduced us to a therapist from his previous company that he thought would be a good fit.
That's the answer.
That's one thing. But he literally, this is the thing when you find A players, they do those things without even me asking.
Oh, yeah. It's normal to them.
And A players want to be around other A players. So he's like, this other therapist I really liked, and I did some co-treating with them doing home visits, and they were really on point and prompt and reliable and all that. Like, hey, if we're going to co-treat it tomorrow at 10 a.m., like that other therapist is actually there and shows up on time and cares and all that.
This is why a phrase called is game recognizes game. Like, this is why that's a thing. It's like, you're like, why do I want to? I did a video about this last week when I did a series of videos about like how to flip healthcare recruiting upside down. And like, spoiler alert, the answer was not spend more on ads or create content about it. It was change the actual setup or how you're explaining your job. And it's like, if you're a hustler, like you don't want to be around other people who are like dragging ass, because then you're like, why is this acceptable? The first people to leave or to stop trying or showing up are the A players, because they're like, you're allowing that B- to happen. Well, then I'm not going to get why is that acceptable? And when the canary in the coal mine starts to drop dead in the cage, that's when you should start to get nervous. A players don't accept that. They shouldn't.
Right. So how else? I mean, we're continuing to work on getting him busier and keeping him busier. And I think in the next month or so, like when more of our Upper East Side folks come back from Florida from snowbirding, we'll actually, there's a few on the Upper West Side as well, but there's a few more there that I treated maybe in the last year or two that would try to get on Andrew's calendar. So the long and the short of it for someone like him is to strive to provide golden handcuffs in a nice way, meaning he wants to make a lot more money. He wants to consistently make a lot more money, and for multiple reasons. Like New York City is expensive, and if you want to raise a family, if you just want to progress in your career, you want to have build some wealth or whatever, like into your retirement, all that type of stuff, it takes money. And so a lot of my therapists, like, they're okay with that, they're comfortable with that, with speaking about it. And so my goal is I want him to be the highest paid staff physical therapist in New York City.
If you keep hitting
if that happens, I don't think, like, where else are you going to go? Like, everywhere else would then be paying you less and having to treat more patients and more notes. So it's like, I want to continue to raise the bar for therapists like that. It'll continue to attract other therapists like that. Will, good morning. Will saying, always love hearing the behind the scenes of Dave's practice. Thanks for being so open, Dave. Will, you're welcome. Thank you for commenting live.
We only talk about these in the comment section. You know what I mean? I don't think that's enough. Because like, people need to hear, like, I don't know. It sounds like sound bites if someone's just dropping comments. But when we talk about it, we go a little deeper. We say, why, or how'd you do that? Or did it really work like that? Or what was the order? It's just a little bit deeper. Well, we'll get into that in a second. He's asking me, and I have news for you too. This happened yesterday. I got something, but I wanted to make sure we were doing this before I moved on. So it sounds like, if you like, why does Aaron Judge make so much money? It's like, because he brings in a lot of money. Do you know what I mean?
He performs.
Right. And he brings in eyes and money. Eyes first, eyes, then money. That's how it works. Like attention breeds money. That's and performance. Like his performance brings the eyes. His milkshake brings all the boys to the yard.
And not only does he hit for power and slugging and average and gets on base, but also yesterday he's got the cannon from right field. And if you got two out single and you think you're going to go first to third, he's going to throw you out at third. He's going to gun you out. So he can catch balls in the outfield. He does it all, and he's reliable. Those are the therapists we want.
He can catch balls in the outfield because he is larger than the outfield. Like he can catch line drives over the fence. Tom Emanski is somewhere like just smiling ear to ear. Remember Tom Emanski? The defensive drill videos in the 90s? Did you watch Aaron Judge when he threw that guy out at third? He didn't even look panicked. He did everything in order. He didn't rush. Aaron Judge could throw the ball through a human being, I think, at this point. He didn't do that. He threw a dart on a line and hit the guy in the chest 3 steps before the poor guy got to third base. But yeah, he did everything right. You do that over and over again, you have money. But figure out what statistics actually get people to pay attention. Showing up on time, being able to sell something, being consistent. Letters after your name are not it. Imagine Aaron Judge kept going to camps in the offseason, had lots of letters, and he was like, I should negotiate my contract because I have letters. Did it show up on the field? No. That's nice then. Pick different courses. I don't know what to tell you. I like this parallel. I didn't see this coming. But yes, Aaron Judge.
No, this is on the fly.
All right. The second thing I wanted to talk about was a graphic I'm going to put on screen right now, but I'll walk you through it. This caused a little ruckus, and it's funny to watch the different social platforms that I put the same graphic on cause different reactions. People on LinkedIn were like pretty pro. People on Facebook were pretty pro, but then some people got crabby, I think. So this was the graphic. I took the nutrition label from food packaging, which is everywhere, right? Nutrition facts, serving size, calories, recommended daily allowances. And I played with it, and I was like, the premise was essentially, why do I go to an Indeed job posting and it's like competitive salary? Like, would that ever fly with the Food and Drug Administration for like how much sugar's in a thing? No. But it's okay for you to put like competitive salary and be really, really vague and wish-washy about what the job's actually like. I gotta give it to some recruiters who write job descriptions. Someone bought them a thesaurus. They get real artsy. Work with a dedicated team. I have no notes. There's nothing on the screen. I am going from reading so many of these. Competitive pay. Great environment. But they don't say anything about the job. And then people were pushing back and going, is it all about the money? Yeah, not all about the money, but I need money to buy. What I love about this, Dave, is when someone says, is it all about the money? I go, no, most of it's about the food I need to eat, and that costs money. Any questions now?
No, I like to think of it as like, it's about half of it is about the money, because the other half is like what you do to make the money, the job role and responsibility.
Bingo. So anyway, I had some fun with it. I was like, hey, why isn't there just, and here's my point for this. I go, doesn't this just save, like I'm not even going to ask you if you agree, because you do this already. You don't do this, but I bet you would be like, oh, that's even easier. I'll do this. Doesn't this save time and money? Do you need 7 recruiters being vague, getting 100 people who kind of know what the job is, and if they want it, to 13 interviews to then have 7 people be like, that starting salary is $12,000 below what I'd even take. I would never have even bothered to double click my resume to send it to you. Had I known that, why can't you be more transparent? People on LinkedIn, super supportive. What were we going to say?
Let me answer that. There must be these bigger, like medium to larger companies that they might model it out behind the scenes that they're not, like point shaving. They're like shaving off of how much they would actually be offering.
Oh, I get it.
So that might be how they would justify having 7 or 10 or 12 recruiters, because you have to pay those recruiters like a salary as well. So if it's a I don't know, a practice that has 10 or more locations, and if you're in network respectfully and you take all insurances, I've heard therapists say this. Other therapists have said that this is how these bigger companies run. Basically, like, they focus on typically hiring new grads because they either don't know any better, they don't negotiate, they're in low position of negotiation, and these medium to larger companies know that every single year there's a new crop that's graduating, and they all need jobs, and they'll find some of them in that crop to fill these open roles, and then they'll keep some of these staff therapists for as long as they kind of want to stay, or they get priced out, or they don't tolerate it anymore. They don't want to, treat volume or be in these busy clinics, or get, held back with capped, compensation. So every single year, these companies are like, hey, we got these recruiters, and you're going to be at every whatever health fair and the student conclave and all this stuff, so they can get in front of more therapists. And obviously it works for them. Yeah. Obviously they have spreadsheets around this, and obviously they know that there's X amount of therapists every year that are going to accept low salaries.
Nobody, I said, unless I am an idiot, like, explain to me why this wouldn't help both sides. And no one could do that. On Facebook, if I were Chris, this is why it. Oh yeah, no. Okay,
if you have 10 or more locations, you don't want to make it public, because you're already making more money by offering more therapists, and some therapists that accept 65, 70, 75, 78K, whatever. So every time they accept that, it's lower than the one that's on the screen. That's this hypothetical $82,000 salary. Mm-hmm. So every time that gets accepted behind the scenes, without a graphic like this, without a company advertising a public salary instead of even a range, and if it's a new grad, they're going to be at the dead bottom of that range, right? So the medium to larger clinics, they benefit from this whole ambiguity of this whole situation.
Somebody brought up that there is now law in several states that if you share a job that can be performed in that state, so let's say it can be performed remotely, you have to share the salary. It has to be written out, like airline prices. It's just very confusing to me. If the bottomest line was going to turn someone off and be like, oh, I can't do that. I will not be able to pay for food or rent. Why you wouldn't just weed that person out immediately? I'd rather do 5 really good potential interview calls than 15 and feel like, but I guess you're right. I guess it's well, I might be able to talk someone from the middle of the bell curve who's pretty okay into taking this. And there's this guy, Joel Legree on LinkedIn. He's a recruiter. That's his big thing. And he's he goes through these talks where he's to the client, they were going to, the budget was 120, but I talked him into $100,000. Isn't that great? I saved you 20 grand. You got me a shittier candidate, or you got me a great candidate who needed the job and took it, but they deserved 120, but you saved them 20 grand for the company. The person should leave in 12 months. And it's great. This is a great business to be in if you're a recruiter. Cause you're just I don't know, a used car salesman. Even car salesmen start with a price. A lot of these jobs are competitive salary. Competitive with what? If it's so competitive, put it on the screen, let it compete. At least give me a range. Because if the range ain't ranging, there's no point.
I feel on LinkedIn, or definitely Indeed, I think it's been a little better in the past couple of years with at least giving a range, no?
I'll do some deep dives, because maybe I'm wrong. I think it's better, but I still don't think it's good. Because it was pretty awful there for a while. All over the place.
We don't need it. We don't.
Then some CEOs come back and they go, well, Jimmy, everything's more than the salary. And I'm like, what do you mean? It's there's benefits. And I said, great, put it on a label. That's what
yeah.
If you're saying it's more than the salary, I'm saying, put it on a label.
I chuckled with this, because down at the professional nutrients, the first one that says mentorship, and it
Low.
says low. I laugh like because obviously we're trying to do significantly high mentorship and coaching and training and onboarding and all that, but I laughed at that. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, CEU allowance 1,000, clinical growth.
Even better. Respect from insurance companies. Trace amounts.
To generate this graphic, I just uploaded 3 job applications that were real in PT, and then I was like, create it from that, and guess the salary because none of the 3 had the actual salary or the range.
That's hilarious.
Competitive though, Dave. It's competitive. What is this, Thunderdome? Are we in Gladiator now? We're in Gladiator now. I don't know. I think there should be. So anyway, on LinkedIn, everyone was like, hell yeah, bro. On Facebook, I got a lot of someone said to me, I won't even call them out because this is a good person. Because they were like, I'll get the exact quote. I'll give you the one I remember. Then we'll see exactly how close I was. They're like, is the person asking this question a business owner? Because if not, I don't value your opinion. All right.
Yikes.
All right. But the person asking this has filled out a job application. So I'm 50% of this little dance we're doing here.
Right.
I'm telling you the market that you're trying to get to pay attention to your job application maybe isn't because you're being shady.
Right.
That's like saying I'm really open and honest. And then someone asks me a question and I go, book a call. It's competitive salary. What is it? Upload your resume and spend 27 minutes writing out this thing first. That's what car salesmen do. They say your presence is your power. Come into the dealership. I'm going to grind you down. We know exactly how car salesmen work. The recruiters are the same thing. Well, if you want to find great suckers who buy used cars, then keep doing what used car salesmen do. If you want to find clinicians who are like, I know my worth. But I guess that's the thing. Maybe I'm answering my own question. They want to shop from the middle of the bell curve, so they'll do middle of the bell curve things. You want to draft first round draft picks. You act differently. I don't know. Like
100%. 100%. We talk about insurance. It's not paying more for a therapist that has 25 years of experience. It's paying the exact same thing per unit per visit,
right?
That a new grad charges through their billable units or whatever. So they don't have to do the golden handcuffs. I have a whole different business model.
Correct.
They're and even you got to think of the whole patient experience, right? If someone's paying $20 copay, or if they're going to outpatient PT or even mobile, Medicare Part B covering 80%, they have a supplemental that's covering the other 20%, and they're getting free physical therapy, whether it's conveniently in their home through Medicare or at a brick and mortar office nearby. And I don't care what anyone says watching or listening. The people that, even my parents that go through Medicare Part B for physical therapy or other services, of course they want respect and they want a fairly good experience, but they don't typically fully care about the experience, and they care, but there's less expectations. Let me just say it like that. There's less expectations as opposed to someone who is paying a package $3,600, someone who's paying $200, $300 $100 per visit somewhere across the country. That person has way higher expectations of they're expecting to feel incrementally better almost every single visit, and have things sent to them or have all their questions answered, and it's a little bit more comprehensive because there's more dollars in the mix, as opposed to the traditional model, which is you take my insurance and whatever service we provide for you, like that's it. It's kind of like take it or leave it.
Yeah, I agree. All right. So I'll keep working on that. We'll never see this. Well, no, I wouldn't. So this wasn't me saying everybody should do this, because I'm smart enough to know that everybody won't. But I think the first large organization that doesn't have to do this, that does, wins. Because they become the no bullshit guarantee. They're like, there it is. There's the sticker. That's what it is. I don't know if I told you this. We used to have to hire weekend radio DJs. Finding someone who's like good on the air, like just from listeners is not easy, right? You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm good. And you put it in front of a microphone, like, burnt. And then I've got to like work with that person. And I'm not getting a lot out of it. I'm just getting 5 hours of airtime filled. So we ran a contest, centerfold ad. Did I ever tell you this? Centerfold ad in the weekly newspaper, full color. And the ad was the worst job description ever. You will make state minimum wage. You will work nights, weekends, and holidays. You will be last in line for free concert tickets or CDs. We painted the worst picture ever. We painted the real picture of what a weekend radio DJ was. I wanted if 1,000 people wanted that job, I wanted to weed them out with the words and first. And whatever 7 people were left, I'm like, it's Fight Club time. You really want it? Great. And we did a contest where they had to record themselves reading a script. It was funny. It was like Mad Libs. And then we brought them on the air for an hour. I made a contest out of hiring the lowest paid person. I needed give a shit. I was like, yes, I don't care how bad that sounds. That's still perfect for me because the upside. Now flip that.
No, wait, did your ad have anything that was cool or unique or different? Like you get to be
on our radio station. Ta-da.
There you go.
Yeah, this is us. You want to hang out with us? You start here. This is where we all started. Let's go. I was looking for a beginner with no experience, and I'm like, you start here. But I was very open. If I had run an ad, I was like, do you want to be a broadcaster? I would have got 1 million applications. By the way, it's $9.50 an hour. And everybody would have been like, what? And I would have wasted how many hours would I have just wasted? Like trying to convince someone to take that job. That job was hard and thankless. I needed to find someone who understood it. I led with transparency, but I made the weakness a strength. Good. So I got, 50 applicants. I brought 10 on the air. I wound up hiring 4.
Good. I was just about to ask how it performed, but so it sounded like it worked.
It became a recurring thing. Like parents would call me, be like, my kid's at Penn State for broadcasting. When are you doing that contest again? Because he's going to be great. I'm like, hell, now they're asking me for the contest. Awesome. All right. So Will was asking about GTMO, Get the Message Out, which is like, it's a name for an agency. The agency is me. Got my second client yesterday. So I won't say who it is, but you and I and Tony were discussing this, or I asked you a question like how much ChatGPT is saying to do this. It feels high. I did this. I sent the price, and literally the next question was, when can we meet? And I was like, awesome. Now, what do you think I'm going to do for this person? Overperform.
Of course.
He brought a number that I did not feel. Tony's, if he's listening now, I did not put the word fair into my negotiation tactics with AI.
Good.
I said, what is this worth? And it told me an insane number that I didn't feel comfortable with.
Yeah. So I remember that you don't have to say it. You don't have to say it here, but that number range, was it in that ChatGPT number range?
Yes. The bottom of the range.
I was going to ask, was it in the competitive part of that range?
I didn't feel confident in putting. So that's what I'm saying. Is someone's like, charge more. So you have to feel like it's worth that. I didn't feel like it was worth that.
But here, the thing is, same thing with us, like we talked about earlier in the show with selling packages. You just need more reps of like, and of course, this is going to deliver value, and you're going to overperform for this owner, all that normal stuff, and that's just how you are, and of course you're going to do that. Then you're going to get more confidence in sending that number or saying that number on a Zoom call, and then it's going to be a higher number over time. Yeah, like Craig said, that I thought that was a Grant Cardone thing. Add a 0, like make a plan, make a plan, man. Let's add a 0 to it.
Jamie Brindle is like a coach of freelancers, and he has this idea where he says the price should be where you can subcontract out all the work and still live on the margin. So what he's saying is, if like you were a carpenter and someone wants to renovate the bathroom, you price that job at a rate where you could then you could sit there in a director's chair and just sit there like this, and you hire the plumber, the electrician, the contractor, the painter, and then your job, you live on the margin. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm there yet, but that's a great goal. Like, but here's what I need: reps and proof. And this person, I'm going to over deliver for that. Whatever I charge them, they are going to be like, it's worth more. Great. And we'll raise the rate in a year after I've proved myself a dozen times over. But my job is I'm doing the things I like, which is creating video, audio, words, pictures, attention. I'm generating attention. I'm an attention engine.
Did that contract or agreement get signed yet?
Yeah.
Did you put in an automatic renewal at a higher rate for the next year if they're satisfied?
But it terminates it at a year. So then it's a new agreement.
Okay.
I could have done that.
I'm just saying, like, it could be whatever, 10% more upon renewal if the practice owner decides to renew for the second year. So it's like a built-in automatic pay bump. You don't even have to negotiate it. And if they want to end it the first year, they just don't renew it. But then there's no negotiation unless you didn't want to have it in there, because then if it overperforms, you could say, hey, it's 20% more or whatever.
Now so Will is asking, so with the good, what's the bad? So I had this no risk idea for APTA state chapters and academies. And I'll tell you about the idea in a second. It's pretty simple. I had 16 or 17 conversations with state chapters and academies. I went to a lot of board meetings, answered a lot of questions. I've had no yeses. No, one yes. Sorry, one yes, but nothing came of it because they just, we'll meet in 3 months with the board. So one yes.
That's but they said yes, but they still have. There's too many people to decide on it.
We'll count them as a maybe.
Yeah,
but no yeses, no nos. Everyone's like, this feels like a good idea.
That's committees. That's why I told you to not sell to this population.
Now, the only reason I still think going to APTA state chapters and academies is they move slowly to hire you. But if you perform, they just never get rid of you, because as long as you do what you promise, they're like, why would we get rid of the guy who's paying for himself and bringing us money? Nobody else on their staff, and I love staffs, nobody else on your staff, most of them, 97%, are not making you money. None. Audit that. Who's making you money? There's a very small percentage of APTA.
How many rainmakers you got?
Not even rainmakers, like people. What's
ring in the register.
They spend money, they cost money, and that's understood. They do a job, but none of them, I can't say none, very, very little, like 1% have staff that make you money. So now I'll say the idea again. If you're a state academy or chapter, you're like, oh man, we need to be places. Where are we? How come we're not? Your members think you're not doing anything, or they don't feel engaged because you're not giving them anything to engage with. And I'm pointing at a cell phone here. Videos, words, pictures, sounds. But you can't afford me. I'm not in the budget to put me on the staff. So I said, hey, here's what I'm going to do. I'll tell you how much it costs to hire me and my little staff of freelancers that work behind me. It's $2,000 a month. And I'll produce these 10 things every month that will lead to engagement, that will keep your members from leaving, and it will bring you margin. And I will not start making the thing. We'll treat it like a movie. I won't start making the stuff until I have made phone calls for free on your behalf to secure sponsorship to pay me and make you margin. And I said, I have it in writing. And they said it. Let's just get it out of the way. I go, here's the contract. Send it to your lawyer now. I want the no quickly because I'm moving on. This is a good idea.
But this is the problem with these committees is that they don't do a quick yes or no. That's hard. That's horrible.
So I've been selling this since
you're in purgatory. You're in purgatory with all these committees.
I got one no. I got one no from one state who was like, we here's why. Now here's why. If this was a good me going, you're not the right fit. We're nervous that you won't be able to hit the $24,000 minimum. Okay, then you've risked nothing. But we still feel like then we're waiting to start. So you value what I'm bringing and you want to start immediately, but you're nervous that I won't hit the minimum. Well, then let's sign the contract and I can start making calls today and I'll hit that minimum. Because just like Bruce Willis in Armageddon, I've never missed a depth. I'll hit that. I'll hit it.
Wait, so the role is you're doing calls for them for raising money, for donations or what?
Yeah. I said I will go hunt. I will go eat what I kill. So let's say it's APTA New York. Hey, APTA New York, for me to create video podcasts and clips and all those things, it's $2,000 a month. Before I start making anything and set up your YouTube channel and your podcast, I'm going to call the 10 largest employers in New York State that hire PTs. And I'm going to go, hey, you guys need to hire PTs? Yeah. APTA New York now has a podcast, a YouTube channel, and all this social content. I'll put your logo on it and make sure that you have a pipeline of applicants coming to you. And they have line items. This is why I pick people who need to hire, because they spend money like crazy because they need to fund the industrial hiring complex. Right. So once I hit 24 grand, I go, hey, everybody, I found the money to pay for me. I'll keep looking for money. But in the meantime, I'm going to start your podcast and your YouTube channel. Now I'll get to work promising what I just did to NYU or whoever. And everybody was like, sounds good, but I don't think you can do it. And I go, well, if I can't, then I've just done a bunch of phone calls for free and I just didn't hit the mark. I'm willing to put my money where my mouth is. You're not willing to put my money where my mouth is. That's a you problem. I can't change you problems. So I had one chapter be like, we want this, but can we start with a pilot? And I go, sure. Well, will you pay me for the pilot? And they were like, well, we're not going to.
Like, we were hoping it was the free pilot.
And I was like, oh, all right. Well, then what I wanted to say was, well, then I got some snow in my driveway. Can you send someone over? Can you want to drop by and just do some work for me while I do some work for you? Or how's this work?
Right.
Because that would be a douchebag. But trust me, when a lot of people are emailing you proper business etiquette, they're thinking, yeah. No, I don't feel like working for free since you're not working for free. Or what I should have done was recorded a bunch of stuff and just stamped a big watermark over the middle of it. But I didn't do that. I responded respectfully and was like, I don't understand what this pilot will prove. When people ask me for proof, I go, sure, go to YouTube, type Jimmy McKay. That's the last decade of my life. If you don't like that, you will hate working with me. If you don't love that, you're going to hate me. But keep in mind, I wasn't going to host their shows. I was going to teach their people how to host. This is how you scale something. I don't want to host your thing from Montana.
Right.
I want Montana people because that's real. And I was going to facilitate it. I also told them, you don't need me to create a YouTube channel or do any of these things. I'll give you the playbook. You're not going to run it. You're not going to do it.
So for all these chapters, they like even the president or whatever of each chapter can't just make any of these decisions on their own. It has to be a committee vote.
I think so. Yeah. That's what I've seen.
I mean,
or that's an objection, Dave, that I have not overcome. So we have a bunch that are in the pipeline going, we're thinking about it. And I'm like, all right, here's the thing that I wouldn't say, but is true. If I find success somewhere else doing what I've just, like yesterday, I signed a new client. I signed 3 or 4 more of those. I'm not available for your chapter anymore. I made you an offer. You didn't answer. Too late. Find someone else. Google it. Now your solution is Google it.
These chapters are never going to come back to you.
I know. You're right.
They're never going to be like all of a sudden, oh, we see you're doing all this amazing new stuff too. And now we've reconsidered and also we've voted on it. And we hope that your offer is still valid and
what I should have done, and I will do going forward. I'm not making any new calls because if these 15 aren't going to make a decision, I'm not kicking more doors. Because I went by population. I went from the largest 15 down. So New York, California, Florida, Texas, what I should do is there should be an expiration date. And after that date, the price goes up. I didn't do that. I should have done that.
It still won't move them to make a committee vote on this.
It won't. But at that point, if someone ever does, it's the price where I'm like, well, this is the price you pay for waiting. All
right. So now the client that just signed with you is a private practice owner the other day?
Yeah, because they have money and understand what value is. Yeah, I understand this.
And it's usually one decision maker unless it's owned by a few PTs. Then it's 2, 3.
And this is how they evaluated me. I interacted with this person 15 times with no expectation of ever closing a deal. I was just, oh, cool, let's do stuff together. And after a while, they were like, how do we get that? I'm like, you call me and you hire me. That's it. But you're right. Chapters.
Oh, so you did some content with them, just regular episodes in the past.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Companies have hired me, like large multi-state practices have done that before, and they'll come in and hire me for like a short term, but not ongoing, which is fine. I don't think I wanted that. I think because after a while, everything I put out has to go through so many filters that it's like mayonnaise flavored ice cream. And then they look at me going, how come this doesn't do as well as your stuff? And I'm like, because you sucked the fun out of it. The fun's the first. The fun
like what? It like had to go like through their legal or whatever.
Yes, or branding, which I have no problem making things look uniform, but like even before that, where it's like, so let's use this to promote, and I was like, let's use this to teach. But we have a new clinic in wherever. Let's use this to get hired. Not going to do that. It needs to lead for the audience. We can smell a commercial from a mile away. So they are trying to be strategic about content. And I'm like, no. This is about changing the temperature. This is about changing climate, not about making it rain over that house. So they were doing it for the wrong reasons, the wrong way. And I'm like, I've been in rooms going, you're paying me to give my opinion. This will not do the thing you think you want it to that fast. You're trying to get a girl to marry you, and you're like, let's wear the blue shirt today in 3rd grade, and you're going to marry her when you're 19. I'm like, that's not the lever to pull. The lever is be nice for the next 10 years. That's the lever to pull. And they're like, that takes too long. And I go, well, 10 years is going to expire. 10 years is going to pass anyway.
Since we're a little late or tight on time, I want to cover really quick why I'm eating raw eggs.
Yeah.
And I want to get your I want to get your feedback on the video I just did the other day, where I read out or did a video about our 1-star Google review, which no one ever does ever.
I like it. I would do that. I
figured you would like it. So first,
why are you going full Rocky Balboa then?
Okay, so
aren't raw eggs dangerous?
I think so, but
they're very dangerous.
2 years ago, in his endless quest for velocity, Ryan Lambert came across an internet video citing the benefits of eating raw eggs. Lambert, a relief pitcher who's recently been cut from his college team, wanted to build muscle and increase his recovery rate. He decided to eat 30 raw eggs per day. He went from throwing, I don't know, high 80s or low 90s. Now he's throwing 100 miles an hour. He got signed by the Mets, and he is now in the Mets bullpen. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I started putting just one. I'm not doing 30. I'm a little crazy. I'm not that crazy. I started putting one raw egg into my protein smoothies after working out. You can't taste it. It's in, frozen fruit and all that.
It's not.
I'm not saying this is. I mean, of course, there might be risk of salmonella or whatever other thing. So.
Yes. Salmonella.
But the point is I want to acknowledge how people are influenced by content.
Oh yeah.
I did this a little bit because of the whole Rocky Balboa thing, maybe back in like high school or college, but it was kind of like a temporary thing. But now for like the last 2 weeks, I'm adding raw eggs to my protein smoothie. I'm not saying anyone else watching or listening should do it. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is I'm acknowledging that I got persuaded by this piece of content, by this news blurb. And I'm thinking like, well, if it could help this guy, I guess it could help me in terms of more protein. It's faster. I could eat an egg. I could consume one egg faster than cooking it. And then it's larger. So it's like when you eat an egg that's already been cooked, it's more filling than a raw egg, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay.
Like it's hard. You got to chew the egg that you cook, and you got to break it. You got to break it down, so then your stomach, I think, feels fuller or whatever.
You're just doing egg shots.
Right.
You have a 1 in 20,000 chance, according to
1 in 20. 1 in 20,000
for salmonella. So I mean, just things to look out for: diarrhea, fever, cramps, and vomiting. If you don't see any of those, you're good.
What's the likelihood of getting struck by lightning? Is it 1 in?
Let's find that out.
A million? 1 in a million? Or car accident? What's like the likelihood between car accident and getting sick from
lightning? 1 in 1.2 million.
Yeah, so 20,000 is way more like.
Yeah. Odds of getting in a car accident, that has to be better than lightning.
1 in 500,000.
For every 1,000 miles you drive, your chances of getting into a car accident are 1 in 366.
All right, so that's a lot closer than salmonella. That's from raw eggs.
That's from Reddit though, so that could be. So
you never know. Yeah.
Reddit is.
All right, I'm not saying for anyone to do this. I'm just saying that piece of content influenced me to do it, and that since I'm trying to put out content and we talk about content and we were just talking about content, I wanted to bring that up. But now let's switch over. So I just put out, we have 2 1-star Google reviews on our business. So the rest are all 5-star reviews. So 97% of our reviews on Google are glowing 5-star reviews. One, I'll probably make a video about it some other time, but the first one was about that we charge a $350 cancellation fee for someone who booked 4 visits and canceled 2. So they late canceled 50% of their visits. We charge them the $350 late cancel fee, which they signed prior to starting with us. And that person wrote a 1-star Google review. And then this one was where we didn't communicate the allowable amount, the out-of-network cost per visit. And I said, this is why we prefer to be self-pay, because it's very clear and transparent and everyone knows exactly what's the dollar amount is going to be and all that. What are your thoughts on this? I know you said that you like the video.
Oh, the idea of showing off your 1-star Google review.
Yeah.
It's great. And here's why. Because I watched this a few days ago because you were like, yeah, we screwed up. Like, how often does that happen? Like, hey, yeah, you're right. This person gave us a 1-star and it was deserved. We screwed up. For 1 out of every 20,000 eggs that I eat has salmonella, and 1 out of every 20,000 is going to get a bad experience. But here's what I'm going to do about it. Like, so my next video would be finding this person, and it would be how many love letters and how you're going to win them back over. That's what I would do. I would make this more like we got a 1-star Google review and it was deserved because we dropped the ball. And my next step was we needed to find, I can't zoom in. We needed to find Beth, who gave the Google review. And we found out, we emailed her, nothing. We Googled her on LinkedIn, found her. We DM'd her. She said, what's up? A chink in the armor. We can get through. We can get through to her. Beth, what do I need to do to make this up for you? You are right. I don't want you to take the Google review down, Beth. It's not what this is about. This is about making it right, because that's what we do. Beth, what's your favorite charity? I love dogs. Cha-ching, $100. ASPCA of New York. Beth, what do you like?
In Beth's name. Yeah.
Beth's name. Right. Like,
so in that video, the guy Sam wrote us the 1-star Google review, and then I immediately went to reading a 5-star review that was 16 hours. That was posted 16 hours before I recorded that. So that video was maybe not the best because I read the 1-star Google review, and then I figured I would hook some people by doing that, like making this video, right? So I segued into, but we also got a 5-star review from Beth from 16 hours ago. So I took away a little bit of the mystique of it, but I wanted to bring the audience to like, hey, we have a ton of 5-star Google reviews.
Here's the thing. If I go to Amazon and I'm going to buy a thing and I see 100,000 5-star reviews and nothing else, no 4s, no 3s, no 2s, no 1s, shady. I don't buy it. It seems it's too perfect. It's too perfect.
Too good to be true.
Too good to be true. Nothing. No one had a problem. Your quality control is that good, or did you buy these? I'm telling you, these are knowledge sense. Something doesn't smell right, and I don't like it. I don't have to. And when someone goes, something didn't smell right, so you didn't buy it? Why? Didn't smell right. Did you look into it? No, I don't have time for that. I'm probably not going to find the answer, but didn't smell right. Moving on, I have other options. Didn't smell right. Smells like old eggs. Not going to eat them unless I cook them. I can't believe you're doing that. You're a real man. You do 30 eggs a day. What are you doing? 30 eggs a day. I eat 2. They're not raw, though. I scrambled those bad boys. We got 6 minutes left, so we'll front tease this. Tony's back on Thursday. We're going to talk about, this is way too much because I think this is brilliant, but we're going to talk about this. Wendy has a job offer that I am applying for. Chief Tasting Officer. 100.
You're applying for it just to mess around?
I would eat Wendy's hamburgers for $100K a year. Yes, I would do that. 100,000%. This is in response to what, Dave? What is Wendy's doing this in response to?
Oh, the what was it, Burger King CEO with the cringe video where he was
Mickey
was it
D's.
Burger King? Oh, McDonald's. The McDonald's CEO eating the burger, and it was a cringe video. I sent it to you guys like right away. This probably before it even blew up. And then when he said, "Oh, what do you say? Amazing product, tasty product." Like who says that?
I can't remember, but someone pointed out on social media, it would have been better if he called it a SKU, like an SKU, like a.
It's basically basically the same. Yeah.
New product. So anyway,
so now Wendy's is taking some of that lightning, right? Some of that online juju.
I understand how that works.
And they're trying to use it in this way,
yes.
Which is apparently, I guess, a real role.
Yes, they'll pay. And here's what I want to get to. Here's what I want to get to, because when you scroll down, you're like, you're going to create content for us. You're going to eat burgers. You're going to become a content creator for them. You get paid to eat burgers, a custom Wendy's chief tasting officer's email signature. Like, I love the fact that they're just full. You can't kind of go a little tongue in cheek. A little tongue in cheek is douchey. Full tongue in cheek is Monty Python. They're going full Monty Python. They're gonna turn you into Jared from Subway without the creepy end part of his career.
But didn't it say somewhere at the top that it's mostly your local Wendy's? Did you see that?
Yeah, it said commute. Yeah, commute. Travel light, mostly to your local Wendy's and or the couch. Like they're gonna turn you into the face of Wendy. They're gonna turn you into the anti McDonald's CEO. That's the play.
Right, but wouldn't they want this person to eat at a whole bunch of different Wendy's locations?
They might. But what this is them doing what I did, mimicking a real job offer and having to toot full tongue in cheek to everyone. Like travel, yeah, down to the Wendy's. Colleen pointed, he barely nibbled that burger. That was the most awkward bite. Human being human food with a human mouth. Babies taking their first bites of food after formula take more normal bites than that, dude. So my point with this thing is, and this is a long full episode, or this might be an extra episode. Why isn't your clinic doing this? Dave talking about Dave and concierge pain relief is one thing. That's the CEO talking about McDonald's is one thing. But where are the customers? How many people with this? That's why I asked this question specifically for that number. How many new patients would you need in your practice? And I understand they're different in geography and type. My question is, how many new patients would you need to turn to someone and go, I'll give you $100,000. What do I got to do? Be the chief exercise officer of concierge pain relief. What does that mean? We're going to figure it out. The goal is, how do I turn you into real person doing real things? I don't know the answer, but no one does this. That's why this gets legs, is because no one does this. Wendy's needs no meetings. Like there likely was a meeting. Have you ever seen the TV show TMZ, where it's just a bullpen, it's just a bunch of Q, and that's what I envision the meeting at Wendy's going. Hey, McDonald's CEO's nuts, and he has creepy human bites. What do we do? Hire a normal person. This is the most basic idea. Hire a normal person to eat, and we'll just. What are we gonna do? Put them on content. What will they do in the content? Eat normally. And is that worth $100,000? Because the attention they will garner from it will lead to Frosty's burgers and fries.
They know that Wendy's corporate knows that this caught a whole bunch of buzz, however many views or shares or comments and engagement. It's a temporary thing, right? It's something that's happening right now. If anything, maybe a week or two ago when it first happened would have been better, but this just came out.
Right. But that's the thing, is likely this person has like Tom Cruise Mission Impossible level clearance. That the person that runs Wendy's IMF, their Impossible Mission Force, they're like, you can do any. This is like Zappos shoes saying, if you're in customer service, you can solve any problem that a customer brings you as long as it's less than $1,000. You have to justify it, like write it down. And if you just keep giving away money, we're going to fire you. But as long as you can justify it, yes, got it. Hey, I looked that person up. They spent $17,000 over the last decade, and they had a problem with their shoe, and it was their sister's wedding the next day. So I overnighted 3 pairs of shoes, a 9, a 10, and 11, to make sure one of them fit, because it was their sister's wedding. And I'm sure the CEO would go, great move. because she's going to tell 100 people about Zappos shoes. And she's going to tell that story 50 times at the wedding. They sent me 3 pairs of shoes. This is Wendy's going, we need to put together a team who can do batshit crazy things to get attention, knowing that they might miss 8 out of 10 times. But if they hit 1 out of those 10 times, home run, pays for everything. Wendy's can do it for $100,000. I know a clinic can't, but a big group of clinics, why haven't they done it?
Wait, you're saying one clinic can't? What do you mean?
A standalone clinic with 3 clinicians is going to spend $100,000 to hire.
Oh, no. I thought you meant just like putting out the content that could make this type of an effect.
So at scale, so I asked this question, and of course, people get a little like, "Oh, you're just going to spend so much money on marketing, Jimmy?" I was like, "No, I'm trying to figure out what your $100,000. They're offering $100,000 salary. Maybe you turn to someone in a local community and you go, "Here's $10,000." What are you going to do? How many patients would that person have to bring in to justify the $10,000 spend? And let's say you hired the mayor, like quite literally, in my size town, if you hired the mayor, that's a coup. Everybody sees him, and you're like, "What do you have to do?" You just wear a t-shirt. Okay. Like there's a TV commercial about that. Little kids at like 8th grade graduation, and they're going across the stage, and it's like they're like reading the names. The principal's reading the names, and it's like Smith Tire and Auto, and everybody claps. And someone's like, why did they just call Benji Smith? We sold the naming rights. Oh, this is crazy. Is it though? All right.
That commercial.
Thursday. Dave's got to go to work. He's probably got to pound a few more eggs before he gets out of here. We're back on Thursday. Tony's back. I want to see more discussion around Wendy's and what they're doing. And we'll see you guys next week.
That's it. We're out.
Boys, what the hell are you doing?
Follow Tony Maritato on YouTube at Total Therapy Solution. Find Dave Kittle at ConciergePainRelief.com and on YouTube at The Dave Kittle Show. And follow Jimmy McKay at PT Pinecast on YouTube, the socials, and wherever you binge podcasts you pretend are for CEUs. And hey, just a reminder, none of this was for advice. This was for entertainment only. Our lawyers say that counts. Thanks, Keith.